Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel My Time, My Teacher. In this video, we will talk about Class 12 Sociology, Chapter number 5 of Book 2, Change and Development in Industrial Society. Here in this video, I will show you that how the industrial society is going to change. You know, when industrialization came, it was the time when the number of urban areas or the number of the people living in urban areas, that was very less. When the industries were setting up, at the same time the people were coming from the villages, from the rural areas to work over there, and then they were forming the new kind of urban areas, the new urban societies. So first of all, we'll talk about what is industrial society. That was the new term during those days, because before that the industries were very less. So the people, those who were coming from the villages to work in the industries, or the people, those who were the owners of the industries, or the people, those who were somehow related with the industries, that all is called industrial society. First of all, the employer. Secondly, the employees. Third, the supplier of the raw material. Fourth, the people, those who are buying the produced material. We can categorize the people in these four categories. The people who are related somehow with any one of these four, they are called the part of industrial society. Industrial society is something which is going to play an important role in any country always. It always plays an important role. So here, first of all, we'll talk about the social aspects of the industrial society, what they are. Because whenever you are taking the people for a permanent basis, it is obviously going to change the society. For here, in this case, we will see that how the people, they were coming from the villages, from the rural areas, the place where the social organizations are working very heavily, very strongly. They have a strong belief in society. They do not want to break that. They are living in the joint families. They are living in the poverty. They are living far away from the education. They are living far away from the infrastructure. But when the people, they moved from there to cities, to the urban areas in search of job. Why they moved there? They moved because they wanted to increase their income. They wanted to raise their living standard. They wanted to change their class from the poor class to the middle class, from the lower class to the middle class, from middle class to the upper class. That is the society, how the people were coming. But see, if we talk about the rural areas, what the people do? The people are busy in agricultural sector. In agriculture sector, what we have? You are going to sow the seeds, and then it takes almost 3-4 months to come out for reaping and harvesting that. In between of these 3-4 months, the people have a lot of time. Either they are going to water them, or to just do any kind of other like pesticides, sprinkling them and all. But meanwhile, they have a lot of time to talk with the people, to talk with the society members, to talk with the villagers. So they remain regularly in touch with the social people, the members of the society. But when they moved from the villages to the cities in search of job and started work in industry, in a company, and the schedule completely changed. Now they are going in the morning to the office, to the factory, and they are coming back late in the evening. They do not have any place to talk, hardly with limited people, those who are working with them in the company. They do not have any time for the social values. They do not have any time for the social interactions. They do not have any time to perform the traditions. They do not have any time to look back to the village. They do not have any time to think about their parents and the family members, those who are living there. Now, in the cities, they are living in nuclear families. They hardly have the time to talk to their wife, their husband, or their children. This thing has made them completely alienated. First of all, what? It started to make nuclear families. Secondly, they were alienated from the society. Thirdly, their income raised. Because of income raised, what happened? They got infrastructure. Because of infrastructure, they send their children to the education. Ultimately, we can say that there was no time left for family. That was the biggest reason. In the villages, what happened? The people are not so busy. But in the cities, you will find everyone is busy. The children are busy with their schoolwork. The parents are busy with their office work. So hardly they get time to interact with each other. That's the biggest reason, the social aspects what we got, the people became alienated. Even though they were earning good amount of money, but they were losing the relations. They were losing the social relations. They were losing the grip with their own people, with their own relatives. The biggest difference which came into the life of the people, those who were working in industries. After that, we are coming to industrialization and modernization. The relation between industrialization and modernization, what is that? Before that, think about the definition of modernization. What is modernization? Having iPhone is a modern person? Wearing Western clothes, can we call him modern? Having lot of money in the bank, can we call him modern? Having luxurious cars, can we call him modern? No. When industrialization came, it also gave birth to the new societies, as I was telling you. When the people, they started to live nearby their companies, in the flats, on the houses, the new colonies set up. While setting up the new colonies, nobody was thinking about the caste, class, religion, and so on. If you talk about the rural areas in the villages, what we saw? The colonies in the villages, mohalla we call them, they were on the basis of caste. One caste is going to live in this mohalla, another caste in another mohalla. If you are finding the name of the mohalla, you can understand the caste of the person. The people were completely bound with the mentality that you are not supposed to interact, mingle with other caste, especially if there is a difference. Like Kshatriya they can, Kshatriya Vaishya can, Kshatriya Brahman can interact, can mingle. But nobody from Kshatriya, Vaishya and Brahman is supposed to mingle with the people of Shudras. But when we talk about the industrialization, the new system of colonies, where they were buying the plots of the flats of the houses they were living, there was no concept like casteism. Nobody was thinking about casteism, regionalism, language, class, whatever it. Somebody was buying a plot of 50 square yards, somebody was buying a plot of 500 square yards. In the same colony, both the people were living. One from the Shudra, one from Vaishya, one from Kshatriya, and one from Brahman families. They all were living in the same nearby 4 houses. That was the biggest change which we got. When these people were living in the neighborhood, obviously they were getting good relationship with all. They were not thinking about that this is Brahman, we will not go, this is Shudra, we will not go. They all were sharing whatever they had. Maybe the festivals, maybe the celebrations in the family, whatever it is. All the people were celebrating that, they all were sharing it. And the reason? Because they all have to live together and they all were. That is the only reason which was happening there. So see, when all the people were living together, what? Their mentality became broad. Now, the discrimination which they were doing on the basis of caste in the villages, that could not be seen in the new colonies. They were not worrying about the class, about the caste. They all were enjoying the traditions, the festivals, the celebrations, the happiness, the sorrow of one and all. That was the mentality of the people broadened. And when it happened, this is called the real modernization. When we are getting modern, right? So modernization is the one when the person is having the rational thinking, the person is becoming secular, the person is giving respect to all without having a second thought. The person does not think about the religion, caste, class, nothing. Simply, you are my neighbor, you are my friend. You are working with me, you are going to school with me, you are living with me. That all were the concepts, the new concept which they got. The system of broadening the mind, that is called modernization. Right? That was. Now see the organized and unorganized sector. There are two sectors where the people are working basically. One is organized sector, another is unorganized sector. Right? What I am going to do, I am just going to make a table here. And here I am writing one. That is government job. This is just a trick to remember the things. I have written government job here. In this column, we will write everything, whatever a government employee gets. Right? First of all, fixed salary. Right? Next, we have job security. Next we have fixed promotion. Next we have regular increment. Next we have medical facilities. Next we have other allowances. Next we have fixed working hours. Right? I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are so many other benefits as well, but these 7 are the main. Fixed salary. Nobody can reduce the salary in the government job until unless there is a big mistake done. Job security, nobody can throw you out of the job, nobody can fire you. Promotions, your promotions are also due according to the time. You will get it. Increment, you will get the regular increments, whatever according to the government law. Medical facilities are given to the employee and the family of the employee. Allowances, they like DA and TA, other things are given. Fixed working hours. The working hours are also fixed, 10 to 5, 9 to 4, whatever it is, that are also fixed. These are the things which we are getting in government job. So, okay. So, what I am doing now is, I am just rubbing this government job word from here. Got it? I have rubbed it. If any company any sector is giving all these facilities to the employees, that is called organized sector. Right? The company, the sector which is giving all these facilities to the employees is called organized sector. And the companies which are not giving these facilities is called unorganized sector. Fixed salary, here no fixed salary. I will explain how. Job security, no job security. After this we have promotions, no due promotions. After this we have increment, no fixed increment, no medical facilities, no allowances, and no fixed working hours. See, now we'll talk about these all. First of all, no fixed salary. Whenever you are working in an unorganized sector, especially the small companies, what happened? The salary is not fixed. Why? Because they are not having the employees on a permanent basis. Somebody is working today as 10,000. Tomorrow they are getting somebody for 8,000. They will replace the person. Next time they are getting somebody for 7,000. Again they will replace the person. Right? Because they do not have anybody on permanent basis. No job security. Job security is not there because the companies are worrying for the cheap labor, the cheap employees, those who can work at less amount, less salary, not for the more one. No due promotions. The promotions are not given on the basis of their service period. They are given either the people they are doing kind of they are working as a slave to the employers, or they are doing too much hard work, only then they are getting. No fixed increment. Increment is also not fixed. Why it is not fixed? Increment? Because they see whether if the company is growing or not growing. They do not worry about the growth of the employees, but they just worry about the growth of the companies. If they will give the increment, regular increment to the employees, then it will affect the growth of the company. They believe like this. No medical facilities. They do not worry about the employees and their families. If they have to suffer any problem, any medications, then they need to do it on their own expenses. The company does not give any kind of expenses to them, does not have any relation with their things. No allowances. The company does not worry how are you coming, how are you going, whether you are living near the company or far away from there. No allowances, no TADA is given to them. No fixed working hours. There are no fixed working hours. If they are asking for 8 hours from the employees to work, they usually keep on taking 9 hours, 10 hours, 11, sometimes 12 hours in the way on the name of we have got an order, we have to complete the order, the deadline is approaching, you cannot go like this, you cannot go home, you need to work on Sundays as well, like this. This is the way how they are treating the employees. So there is a biggest difference between the organized and unorganized sector. Organized sector are basically the big companies, the MNCs, those who are working at a very large level, those who think about the welfare of the employees, that is called organized sector. If we see the small companies, those who are working for their own benefits only, that is called unorganized sector. Right? Now we will move to our next topic. We have done this, organized, and now industrialization then and now. Industrialization then and now. then means when industrialization started, or we can also take it from the independence of India, 1947. Because after that only whatever happened in India, that is meaningful for us. Before that, whatever is done by the Britishers, that is none of our concern. What we were working about then, now, then we were working for cotton, then we were working for jute, right? Cotton, jute, then we were working for tea also, then now we are working for, first of all, let's complete then we will come to this, right? We are also working for coal, the transport system. During those times, it was hardly we were having the trains. Otherwise, the transport system was very slow to move from one place to another, or to bring the raw material to the company and to take the production out of that. That was also less. The salary of the people and the working opportunities, they were also very less. They were also not getting the full salary and whatever they deserved, because there was not a particular system to manage all these things. That was the beginning, how the companies were very, very less companies. Very less companies were there in the country, those who were working for them. If you talk about now in 21st century, what we have basically the biggest example, MNCs, multinational companies, those who are working in so many nations, so many countries. That is multinational companies. After this, you see, we are dealing with so many things, IT sector, medicine sector, right? And others. Transportation, communication, that is very good. And nowadays the communication is a new system which is going to boom the IT sector, because the communication, internet, and that is all required. Because of that only these sectors are working. Otherwise they do not need any kind of transport, right? But IT sector especially, there is no requirement of transportation, just because of communication. If we talk about the transportation, there are so many MNCs which are working for the production and the assembling of the items, the objects that they need the transportation. That is also right now very fast, very quick. So they are taking the benefit of it. The salary is also increased. The MNCs are giving all the benefits to the people, those who are working over there, including like whatever I told you just now in the organized sector. MNCs, all the MNCs are giving everything according to organized sector, right? Nowadays, earlier only male members were working, mostly males were working, but now it is open for all males and females. All are working in MNCs, call centers, BPOs, IT sectors. It is open for all. Now this has been changed. Earlier it was not like that, but nowadays industries are open for all. They want the quality work, the person with qualities. They do not worry about the caste or the gender of the person, right? That is the industrialization then and now. Now we are coming to the next topic. The next topic is how jobs are found. First of all, reference, then we got employment exchange, then we got ads in newspapers, and after that we got websites and apps. If you talk about the industrialization, when it started, the people were getting the jobs on the basis of references. Like when there is a vacancy in the company, the owner or the supervisor or the senior boss was asking the other employees to find out someone to work in that particular post. So what was happening in that case? The employees who were asked, they were getting somebody from their own reference, maybe their own relative, maybe their own friend, maybe from their own village, like that. The vacancies were not going for all the people. That were limited to only those who were working, so they could get somebody from their own reference only. It was not accessible to all. After that, when we got independence, the government tried to change the system and tried to make it open for all the people of the country, and the employment exchanges were settled. They were set up in every district of the country. This was an office basically, and the unemployed people, those who were looking for the jobs, were needed to go to these employment exchanges and get them registered with their qualifications and the type of job they wanted. Whenever there was any vacancy in any of the company or the government, they were approaching these exchanges and were asking them to give the people, those who are looking for particular job which they want. And then the application were accepted after the jobs were given. But what happened in the system also, employment exchanges, because the people were only running these, the people were sitting in the offices. So what they were doing, they were only inviting the people, those who were either giving them the bribe or those who were their friends and relatives. Because of that, this was objections were created, objections were raised by the people, those who were not getting invitation for the particular job which they could also get. So the system was changed, and the advertisements were given in the newspapers by the government, by the companies, so that it can reach to all. Because newspaper is the medium where you can get a lot of information from there, moreover the advertisements. Most of all, the thing was that nobody could raise a question that you have not informed us. Whether the person is getting the newspaper or not, that is another issue. But the company or the government is free from their side that nobody can raise a question to them. After that, nowadays what is happening, the job vacancies, they are coming through websites, or now the people can just take websites or apps, because it was not an issue. आप website भी ले सकते हैं, आप app पे भी apply कर सकते हैं, and whenever there is something like that, there is no problem at all about the thinking of it, because you can continue the work. And nowadays you can even apply also to the app and website. You do not need to do the physical application, sending a form and applying on the paper form. You can directly apply here only, and through here you can download your admit cards and so on. So see, this is the difference which we got in the industrial society, how the jobs were given then and how the jobs are given nowadays. That is the thing which has been done. After this, now we are moving to time slavery. What is time slavery? Time slavery is basically of two types. The one type of time slavery is when the people are working more than working hours. Basically 8 hours are the working hours, and including the lunch time you can have 8.5 and 9 hours. But when this work is extended more than that, then what happens? Then that is the torture of the person, torture of the employees. That is time slavery. The employers usually, they try some different things all the time, asking the employees to work for longer hours to save their time, to save their money. Because if, for example, if they had taken an order and the order is supposed to be done in 30 days, but what they will do, they will ask the employees to complete the order in 20 days only. It will benefit them in two ways. The first way is that they will get the goodwill of the company that you have completed the order before time. The second is you will save the time. If your employees are working 30 days for the same order, and if the same order is completed in 20 days, it means you have saved the salary of 10 days. The production, the order which is completed, you will get the same amount from there. But what have you done? You have saved the salary of 10 days. You are not going to give 10 days extra salary to the employees. During those balanced 10 days, you will ask them to work on some other project. That is a kind of time slavery. Another time slavery is in the form of MNCs. What MNCs are doing? MNCs are running 24 hours. Right? They are doing the 3 shifts every day within 24 hours. And what happens? Because of that, the schedule of everyone is disturbed. Somebody is coming at 8 o'clock in the morning. Somebody is going at 3 o'clock in the morning to the office. Somebody is coming at 2 o'clock at home. So what is this? This is also a time slavery. Basically, the days are made to work, the night is made to sleep, to take rest. But because of the arrival of MNCs, what is happening? The people are working day and night. They are working at night, they are taking rest at the daytime. That is the time slavery, another type of time slavery, which is not allowing them to enjoy their life perfectly and whatever they deserve, whatever the life deserves from them. Because of the money, because of the job they want, that's why they have to complete the work. They cannot leave it, right? So students, after this we have small scale industries. What is small scale industries? Small scale industries are basically those industries which are run in homes. You don't need to buy a special separate place for them, a separate factory area. You can do it at your home only. For example, we have BD. For example, we have paper cup and plates factory. For example, we have embroidery. For example, we have making of matchboxes. See, these are the industries which do not need any particular place away from your house. It can be run by the women of the family, by the children of the family can also support them in the way. This is how it is happening, right? You can imagine that these are the things. BD factory, BD making can be done at home by the 2 people, 1 people, 3 people. The children can also cooperate during the work. You can do it in the morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you have the time, as much time you have. You have half an hour, work for it. You have 2 hours, work for it. Before going to sleep, work for half an hour. Because the way you do not need to make special arrangements of any type. Simply take the tobacco leaf, put tobacco in that and just roll it, tie it with a thread and just count it and make a bundle of it, right? That is the BD factory. There is no particular diploma required, no engineering required, no doctorate required, no education is required for them. Anyone can do it. Paper cup plates, this is also, we are having the new system. The people are using the use and throw material, the paper cups, the paper plates, the paper bowls. So you can make it also. There is also no diploma required to do it all, and you can earn quite a good amount. You can do it anytime at your home. Whenever you are free, you can do it. You do not need to go to any company or any industry to work for, and you are not dependent on anyone. Embroidery, this is also basically done by the girls and the ladies at home. They can do it at home and they can earn a good amount of money. Matchboxes, they are made. That is also the simple way to do it at home. See, these are the small scale industries which are run by the people in their own houses only, in their own families only. They do not need to go anywhere. Moreover, all the family members are working, so they can also earn a good amount of money from these things. After this, we have the new topic, strikes and unions. See, what is strikes and unions? When the employees feel that the employer is not giving us our right? What is their right? The salary. The employees are not worrying about the ownership of the company. They just want the salary. When the employer is earning a lot, asking them to work a lot, but is not giving them the wages, is not increasing the wages, is not giving them the leaves whenever they want, then what happens? For certain these kind of issues, the people, those who are working, the employees of the company, they go for a strike. Right? Strike is stopping the work and sitting somewhere either in the company itself or outside the company by raising their demands against the management of the company. This is the way convincing the people, convincing the employer to increase their wages basically, or to delimit the working hours of the people, those who are working. As well as the other kind of benefits can also be there. It can be done for the medical benefits. It can be done for the if somebody has died or met with an accident in the company itself, for giving something to that family of the person, that can also be done. These are called the strikes. When the people are going to stop the work and going to raise in front of the management of the company asking for their demands, that is called a strike. What is a union? Union is basically a group of the unity of the employees working over there. Imagine, for example, 1,000 of employees are working in a company and 100 people are going on a strike. What will happen? Tell what will happen. The 100 people, they will be thrown out, they will be fired from their job because 900 are still working. But to avoid such kind of things, what happened? The management will not be responsible for anything and they will not give you anything. So what is the idea? The idea is, if all the 1,000 people are together, then and they all are going to stop the work for a few days on a strike, then the management have to listen to them. The management can't ignore, because the company is not working. All the machines are silent. Nothing is happening there. So in order to keep the company moving, they need to understand the demands of the people, the employees, and they will work for it. So that's why the unity is required, and the unity of employee is also called the unions. They made the unions, labor union and other unions, right? It was started basically in Bombay, later on followed by some other sectors and some other cities also. Nowadays in every sector we have the unions. Even in the government sectors also unions are there, just in order to make sure that no employee is going to be harassed by the management or by the employer. That is the only way. Strike, stopping of the work, asking for some demands to be fulfilled, unions, the unity of the people, those who are working over there, right? That is the one. Now the next one we have is the last, the Bombay Textile Mill Strike. (1982). See students, the Bombay textile mill, you know Bombay, that is a very popular place for the textile mills, because since very beginning we had the cotton production over there. So when the cotton production is there, the textiles are also there, the lakhs of people were working there. In 1982, what happened? The people, the employees, they went on a strike demanding for their increase in the wages. Dr. Datta Samant, he was the leader of that mill strike. It continues for around 2 years. The Bombay textile mill strike that continued for more than 2 years. And you will be shocked to know that after that also the demands were not being fulfilled. What the company did? The company went for Badli workers. Badli workers, you know, the exchange of workers. When these people were not coming to the work, those who were on the strike, what the company did? The company called in for another workers. There were the two groups basically. Group 1, what they sold their property and to the property dealers. The factories they were sold, and the property dealers turned them into residential areas. The second one was those who continued the same. They got new workers, right? No place for the people on strike. The first one, the factory owners, when they were not able to bear the loss of the company because of the strike of the people for a long time, they contacted the property dealers and sold their companies. When the companies were sold, property dealers, what they did, they just sold it to somebody else and the residential buildings were set up there. The company was finished from there. So the people, those who are working in those companies, there is no future for them automatically. The another way was, the people, those who continued the mills, they used another way. They got badli workers and they employed the new workers to continue their mill, and no place was left for the people, those who were earlier working there and were now on strike. What we got because of them, it proved to be very harmful for a lot of people, those who were on the strike, because first of all they lost their job. Moreover, they were the poor people, they were the employees only. They did not get the livelihood from anywhere. Moreover, there was no place for the job. So many of them, what many of them did? Many of them left Mumbai, left the place, and they went back to their villages and started casual works, or they moved to some other place in search of the job. Basically, the strike ruined their life completely. Nothing was left. On the other way, if we talk about the employers, those whose employees were on the strike, what they did, they became tough enough. Like, there was no emotional contact left between the employer and the employees, those who were the new workers. First of all, they were not improving the technology of the company. They were asking them to work for the things whatever they had. जो भी उनके पास छोटा मटेरियल था, उसी पे काम करो. Right? There is nothing is going to be changed. No new technology will be there, and no emotional touch. You cannot ask for advance, you cannot expect some kind of allowances, you cannot expect a regular increment, nothing will be there. So the Bombay mill strike proved to be very harmful for all the people, those who were existing workers, those who were on strike, as well as for the new employees, those who joined the company's mills later on. It was not a good for all, not only for the employees but for employers also. Those who sold, obviously they were in the loss, and those who continued, they were also in the loss, because when the strikes continued for more than 2 years, they almost lost a lot of things from there. Right, students? So this was the chapter, the change and development in industrial society, which we got from independence to till now. It has changed a lot of things with us in our society. From our living place to our working place, everything has been changed, right? So I have tried to tell you everything, whatever was there in the chapter. Hope you will understand something out of it. Thank you very much.